Good morning everybody and welcome back to another Simply Made Saturday with me, Helen Armstrong from Pandora Pops Crafting Joyful Moments. Wow, what can I say? What a week it has been for weather here in the United Kingdom. I'm currently sat here and it is currently 29 degrees and it has only just gone 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. It's been a tough week with the weather, but I know there are some out there, especially in Europe, who've had much worse than we have. But it's, very unusual for us to have this kind of heat, and I think it's wiped a lot of us out. It's certainly made life a little bit difficult. So I've been taking full advantage of going into work and having the air conditioning on, which has been lovely. So what are we doing today? We are making a card out of designer series paper. We're using the designer series paper as a card blank, and that is the basic card. You can add whatever embellishments you want on it. I've gone quite simple because I quite like the black and white. And then at the back, oh, I just got a bug. At the back of us, we have a sentiment. Now, I did my usual of sticking the back on before I stamped. And because I'd already put my embellishments on, it didn't stamp brilliantly. So don't do what I've done. Don't stick it down until you've stamped your sentiment on the back. So the things that we're using today are, we're using the Floral Flight Accents, and we are using the Beautiful Ordinary Life Designer Series paper. This is a stunning paper. I think I've showed you it before, but I'll open this pack because it's my last full pack that I currently have. So yeah, we'll go through it quickly and show you. So yeah, gorgeous papers. And what this is very colourful on one side, and then we have monochrome black and white on the other. So you get 2 sheets of each. So this is both sides. I do quite like that honeycomb effect. We also have stripes, which have a floral effect on the back. We haven't used that one today. And we've also got this gorgeous sort of retro-ish pattern, but it's beautiful. And that has got spots on the side, on the other side. And then we've got this sort of mottled but ombre effect going on with this gorgeous petal pink, I think it is. I will double check the colours for you in a second. And that has sort of crosses on the back. And then the last one we have, oh sorry, we've got 2 more. The last, with this gorgeous honeycomb, has chevrons on the back. And then we have a gorgeous spot. I love this one. And this has got sort of mini bees on the back of that one. Okay, so the colours in this particular Beautiful Ordinary Life paper pack is black, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Lemon Lolly, Lost Lagoon, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Pretty Peacock, Real Red and Timid Tiger. So they're the colours that are in this one. And as I say, I'm using the Floral Flight Accents, which come in the same suite as the Beautiful Life paper. Yeah, and I used these a few weeks ago on our Simply Made Saturday, where I used actually these pieces and then blended over the top as a stencil. I'm going to actually use some of these pieces on the cards today. So I'm reusing them. So I've reused it for one card and I'm now reusing it to make something else. As I say, this card is very simple to do. It is just designer series paper with some additions on it, and I'm using 2-tone cardstock as well to match in with the colours of the paper. All right, so one of the first things we need to do is bring in our card, and I will tell you exactly the measurements, but I will put them in the description to let you know. So let's bring in this one first. So this is the gorgeous stripe with the leaf on the back. So the size of these is centimetres. It's 30.5 centimetres by 14. So it's your 12 by 12 paper, just cut into a strip of 14 centimetres. If you're working in inches, it's 12 inches by 5.5 inches. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer and we're going to do some scoring. So we need to score at 4.5 centimeters, which is 1 3/4 inches. Just making sure that's lined up correctly. And I've just, why has that done that? Okay, I don't know why it's ripped my paper there. Let's have a look. Oh no, we're okay. We're all right. So 4.5, just be gentle when you score. You don't need to press down too much like I've done and then rip my paper. So 4.5 centimeters. Yeah, it's not do as I do, because I do these videos and I always make mistakes, but this is part of crafting. So we've done our 4x5 centimeter, which is 1 3/4 inches. We're now going to 12 centimeters. What I'm actually going to do is take my thing there. So we're going to 12 centimeters, which is 4 3/4 inches. And I'm just going to run it lightly because we don't, as I say, we don't need to do an awful lot. And then I need to just adjust the arm and take this arm out because we need, our last score is at 19.5 centimeters, which is 7 3/4 inches. So again, I'm just running it lightly. Yeah, don't press hard. So you still get your score, which is what you need. So we just need 3 score lines on this, and then we're going to fold it. Now it's up to you which way you want to fold it. So if you wanted to have the pattern piece to be the star, you would fold it mountain fold with the background coming over the top, and then we have mountain valley fold coming back, and then we have the black and white DSP, which is the main bit on this card. Okay, now you can use your bone folder to crisp up the lines if you wanted to. Okay, so that's the basis of our card. Obviously I've got that little tear at the corner. I would put probably some invisible tape, which I do have somewhere, but I'm not going to do it quite now, but I would put some invisible tape on the side. So we have the base of our card. Okay, so then we need to have a look at the bits that we can put on. So I'm going to bring those in. I'm also going to bring in our two-tone card because I want to decide which strips that I want to put on. Right, so the sizes for these, the middle panel is 7 by 9 centimeters, which is 2 3/4 by 3.5 inches. And then the smaller panel is 5 by 7 centimeters, which is 2 by 2 1/4 inches. So you can, if you wanted to, use the same colours, but I want to go something different. And I'm actually going to go with the lighter colour. This is what you could do. You could use the, I quite like that effect of having the dark and then the light. Or you could go for something completely different and have, say, our lemon lolly. That's not the right size. Let me pick up one which is the right size. We could go for our Lost Lagoon on the front, or we could go for Petal Pink, the lighter version. I'm actually going to stick with the Happy Accident is what I call it. I do apologise if there's a lot of shadow today. It's just that obviously the sun is really shining, and it's causing a bit of a shadow, unfortunately. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go with that. All right, and then we need obviously our white panel for the back, which we're going to stamp. And then we also need a piece for our sentiment. So a small white piece for your sentiment. The back panel is 9 by 12 centimeters or 3.5 by 4 3/4 inches. Okay. So let's do our stamping first, and then we can move everything else out the way. So I'm going to use You Are the Best, and this is from the May to August catalogue, which is from the Words and Wishes sets, which comes with, if you get the die set as well, it comes with a whole lot of dies to cut out words, but I really quite like the sentiments on this. So I've picked You Are the Best, and then I have picked the Thanks for being so fabulous, life is better with you around. You know, perfect for a friend, or a sibling, or, you know, anyone really. Just somebody that you want to show them that you care, really. So yeah. Oh, okay. So using Secret C, because as you know, I prefer this to black. Let's turn it around the right way. I'm just going to stamp it to this side because I'm going to cut it. Oh. And then let's give it a quick clean. And then I'm going to bring in our other stamp. See, I am learning. I've decided to stamp it before I stick it. Okay, and I'm going to stick this around about in the middle. Okay. So there we go. Close this off, because you know me, I'll end up with my fingers in it if I don't. And we can put that to one side. Okay. I'm going to just quickly trim my sentiment, which is going on the front of our card. And I'm going to make just a quick fantail by cutting in the middle and then going across. And you can just see my cat. Hello. I'm in the middle of a video. Do you want to just head yourself off? Go on. Go on. I think she wants to be part of the video this morning. Bless her, she doesn't really know what to do because it's so hot at the moment. Okay, so we have those bits, we can put those to one side. Now, we have options. If you wanted to put another piece in the middle here, you could do, and you could do some stamping on that. Then you'd have your layers, and then you could have your layers. I decided that on this first card, I didn't do that, and I just, because I love this background, I thought you could just put the embellishments on. Because this is a bit more fussy, I think I might actually add that in. But let's see. Let's just see what it looks like without, and then we can make that decision. Okay. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to stick this one down, which is the bigger one, to go in the middle. Now the trick is to try and get it, I mean, I'm eyeballing it, you can measure if you want to. So you've got a little bit hanging over the edge there, and then when you add this one, you get the same amount of edging all the way around. Does that make sense? So it looks as if it's just matted and layered on the top. That is the, you know, that is the best way to do it. So I'm going to quickly, and remember, you're not, because you're only sticking a little bit, you do not need to put glue all over the back. Unlike what I did earlier on today when I was making my card, I did put glue all over the back, not remembering that I only just need it on one little bit. So whilst this is in place, you can place your top layer on, and I'm just eyeballing it and trying not to get my head in the way, and it's a bit difficult when you can't actually look over the top directly, but let's have a go. All right, okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this down, but I do need a little bit more glue on the back of this one because we are covering quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that in and layer that down and try and ensure, I'm just going to turn it so it's not quite there. I need to bring it in a little bit more. Bring it out. Bring it down slightly. Yeah, you see, the good thing about this glue that we use, the green glue, it gives you that little bit of wriggle room to be able to move it around. And I'm not doing this the best. I was slightly over on that side. Okay, so don't stick it down until you're happy with the placement. I think that's probably as good as I'm going to get it without being able to stand up and see. Okay, so that's my bit. Now, do we put that in? Essentially using the same kind of trick where we have the same amount at the top and bottom and at the side. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Okay. So this time I'm now going to bring in my little bits. So these were the bits that we used the glue on and we just let it dry. So it became tacky, and a couple of weeks later it is still tacky. So I'm going to stick my butterfly down. Just get another couple of dabs of glue on the back. You could use a dimensional if you wanted to raise it up, but this particular one I do not want to raise up. I'm just going to stick it on that corner there. Okay, and then do I want that one there or that one there? I think I'll have this one on here. Again, put a little bit of glue on the back. So yeah, as I say, it's been very warm here in the United Kingdom for the last week in June 2026. It is cooling down from tomorrow, so we're dropping by about 8 or 9 degrees tomorrow. So it means that we should get a much better night's sleep. Because unfortunately here in the United Kingdom we do not have air conditioning. Yeah, so it makes nights very sticky, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to stick that on, but before I do, I do want to add a little bit of colour. With this one I didn't. So this is very simple, obviously, and you can then take it up a notch if you want to add a little bit of colour to this bit just to make it stand out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with, I think, Pool Party. Let me just grab my Pool Party. Let me just double check the colours, because I had literally forgotten what the colours were. Yeah, Pool Party is one of them. Just double checking. So I'm going to come in with my Pool Party and I'm just going to go around the edge of the stamped sentiment, and I might also do that the same to the back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly go around the edge. Be interesting to know how everyone else is beating the heat here in the UK this week. As I say, I've been taking advantage of an air-conditioned office, even though I can work from home. I've been in nearly every day this week, and it's been absolute bliss, I have to say, just getting some respite from the heat. And those of you who have been are in a hot country or have been to Florida, you know what it's like when you step out of the airport, when you land, and that blast of heat hits you. That's pretty much been the same way when I've left the office. It just really, really hits you. I think I'm also just going to do a little bit round here as well. With this one, I'm going to put it down on my pad. And I'm just going to go around the edge. So this is a step up from it being a very simple card. You can just step it up a little bit, and it just gives that little bit extra dimension, and I think heightens the card a little bit. Okay, and what you could do is we could use one of our little leaves as a little bit of a stencil. And then we can just go around it. And then we've got a little bit of that stenciled pattern again that we used a couple of weeks ago in the corner. Okay. So we've got those two things. We've stuck those bits on. We need something in the middle here. Now we have our really big patterned piece, which I'm just peeling off. And I'm wondering whether we need that on or whether that can go in there. I'm thinking that can go in there. Yeah, and then we'll put, I think, our leaves on that middle bit, just here. So you've got a little bit of leaf, you've got a little bit of leaf showing, and then when you turn it over, you've got that big pattern in the background. But again, I think we're going to lift that piece of card, so we'll do that bit in a second. Let's just stick this one down. And what you could always do, this bit here with the black and white, if you wanted to add some colour, you could do to that as well. Again, it's up to you, however you do this, whatever you use, but I just thought showing you the simple make with the designer series paper, how to make a card with the designer series paper, was a really good idea. I can't take the kudos for this because it is, I got this from lovely individual called who's on YouTube, and I think she's called Creating the Otter Way. She did this over a year ago, and I just thought, oh, I want to bring that back because it's just so good. Okay, so let's do a little bit more blendy. Oh, that just sounded really weird, didn't it? Me going blendy. So let's do some blending again, just to knock back that white. Obviously you can go as dark or as light as you want with the blending, or not do blending at all. It is entirely up to you. Okay. Close that down. Okay, then we're going to just, where we have that original dried glue, we're just going to add a little bit of glue, just to make sure this sticks to our card. And then we can trim around what we don't want. Okay. I'm going to have it like that. And then I'm going to stick it in and then just see, how much do I need to cut off? If I place it like that, that will work. Yeah. Okay. Right. Put it in. Make sure it's as straight as it could be, which is not as straight as it should be yet. Okay. And all I'm going to do then is close our card, and I'm going to use the scissors just to come down and trim those off, because otherwise it will not fit in your envelope, or you'll have trouble fitting it in the envelope. Okay, now I'm thinking that looks great. That's with the sentiment, that will be fine. This one is the one that I'm thinking looks a bit meh. So I'm just trying to think, is there anything else that I want to add with that? Let's put our sentiment on first. I am going to use Dimensionals to put the sentiment on. And again, because we're going to have it coming off, we only need them on this bit here. left my dimensional on the sheet. Okay, peel the backing off. And then stick it down. So you can place it wherever you want it to go. And then let's put the back of our card on at the back. Thank you. My glue, I have to keep shaking it. It's been a lot more runny this week, and I think it's purely due to the weather. So I'm happy with that layer, not so happy with that layer, but very happy with that layer. I wonder whether we can do something with this. I wonder whether we can bring in our white highlighter. This is just me adding bits. You can make this as simple as you want, as in the, you know, the name of this class is Simple Saturday, Simply Made Saturday. Right, let me just get a piece of card to put under. Oh. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of white to the butterfly's wings, just picking out a few spots, and then I'm going to come in and just do a bit of edging with our white gel pen, so it looks like we've got a bit of stitching going around the side. So you can do whatever you want. This is just the easiest thing to do. We do have a stamp set coming out in July, which is the stocking set. Let me just see if I can remember the title of it. Stitch stocking set, and let me see if I can grab. I've got my dies, but not my stamps. But the stamps actually come with some stitch, a stamp which will stitch, does that stitching. So yeah, and then I'm just going to add a few just around here, just to highlight. So again, it's up to you how much you want to add. I think that just lifts it ever so slightly, and we're going to do the same with this one. So I'm just going to go around the side with the bottom of these, on the top of that one, and then I'm going to bring in, but this time I'm just going to do a line. So the trick is with the gel pen, it's a beautiful gel pen, but as long as you don't go too quickly, you'll get a continued line. So yeah, the trick is to go not as quick as you normally would. Sorry, I'm not in the middle of my camera, am I? A little bit down here. And then you could maybe just do some little hearts. Again, it's up to you, whatever you decide to do. I'm just now playing and adding, because I just thought that centerpiece was a little bit too plain, and we just need one more heart, as we always want odd numbers. Okay, so we now have that, which is going one step further than the previous card I made. And I've managed to get ink on there. I will get my rubber out and I can get rid of that using my eraser. Yeah, so that is the other version of the card. Would you add any white highlights to join in with that? Shall we give it a go? Just maybe on the leaves, a little bit of highlights. Just gives that a little bit extra. Let that dry. But yeah, so there's the card. So this was the original one, which is, you know, it's still lovely. But I've done no blending, nothing else. All it is just stamping and sticking on the card. And then we've gone a little bit step further with this one, where we have added some blending, we've added some highlighting, some fun accents on it. And we've done our blending and this on the back. Again, I can use my rubber to get rid of that. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that. Simply Made Saturday quick tutorial. I'll put all the dimensions in the description, and also I'll give you the links to the things I've used as well. All right, well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and don't forget to check in tomorrow for my Sharing Sunday video. All right, everybody. If you have enjoyed watching this video, please like and subscribe. It really does help me continue to make these little videos for people. But yeah, always remember, craft your joy.